Hey guys, how's it going? I've noticed a certain welding mask meta rising in PoE lately with bright flashy skills that leave floaters before your vision, and thought I'd contribute a bit with a divine Ire Totems hierophant. It's actually a build that I thought would perform great in the Sanctum ever since I saw the announcement. Because I did start with a cold belt trickster, but it didn't turn out quite well in the fourth floor actually, because it lacked damage. And I thought that's a skill that just vaporizes the target, leaves nothing but the smell of ionized air. Might actually be a better choice for that type of playstyle. And off I went, Hierophant, leveling with Wave of Conviction, then switching to some totem action once I've got my first ascendancy. But it's a smooth leveling experience. I did do it quite fast because I don't know, Wave of Conviction seems pretty dope, and you can just breeze through the campaign with it with no issues whatsoever. And the build does feel quite immortal until early red maps or something when shit starts hitting pretty hard, especially the outer mobs, those piety miscreation stuff that could off screen you. So that's when you start building your defenses, but until then you can just leave the totems to vaporize everything in your path. Yet for the purpose of the Sanctum, I think it could scale pretty well. I haven't invested much into it now. I'm currently building it, but I did encounter some bosses that I hadn't on my previous runs with my other character, and they went down pretty quickly. I was surprised at how smooth everything went. Of course, it's not finished; it's a work in progress, and I'm yet to do level 4 with it. But it's only shit budget gear now, and for what it is, it performs pretty well. So I will probably try to scale that damage a bit higher. Of course, it can go up to 2 or 3 million, I think, per totem, and you got 6 of them, so that's a lot. Bear in mind that what you're seeing is just a work in progress. I'm yet to find out the perfect setup, the perfect auras for that, the perfect defensive layers, and all of that. Uh, Currently, now let me just switch to my character. So that bias old man is just level 88. I've yet to spend some more points on fine-tuning shit. I don't know why my shield is flickering like a rainbow. It feels weird, but it is what it is. All in all, with some trial and error and dying a lot, I figured out that max block with a bunch of armor, not a bunch, but just a bit, and +1 to maximum resistances kind of helps currently. So you do get, well, yeah, max block from your roomies. I went with glancing blows, just filled out the block shit. +1 to chance block attack damage per 5% chance to block on shield. And you gotta find the shield that gives some increased reservation efficiency. 30 is super if you can get it. I think I got it pretty cheap, so that one was 200 KS or something. All of them mostly are around 3 divines, so I think for around the divine you can get one with 20% increased reservation efficiency with 1 maximum totem, some resist, some life. But that one with that enchant on the helmet with charisma and let me see which, yep, these nodes here, that one here, I think that's about it as far as reservation goes. So you can squeeze determination, tempest shield, zealotry, defiance banner, wrath. Oh, of course, yeah, I forgot about the cluster with electric presence. Wrath has 50% increased mana reservation efficiency. So The small ones also give some reservation efficiency. So yeah, my setup is just you could drop some of that. You could go. I was for a long time I was going with just rat reserved and then zealotry on divine blessing, but then I couldn't just use much defenses, so I opted for implementing rat into reservation, and eventually I end up with 80ish mana. So that's enough to cast all my spells. If you're not comfortable with that, you could drop, I don't know, maybe the Defiance banner, but you'd get some mana. I mean, you get a lot more mana if you go Divine Guidance and then Sanctuary of Thought. If you have the buck, you could, Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame. One of these give a lot of damage. I'm not sure if I'd be willing to drop them. The combo that I've seen people use is actually Inevitable Judgment, but just one of these goes for around 20-25 divines, so that's kind of out of my league currently. I did spend all my money on just buying all that, and if it doesn't work, well, damn. All right, and the next thing that you have to set up is something that you cannot ignore while having Soul Mantle and using totems is the reduced curse effect on you thingy. In the past, I'm not sure, but I think people used two kikazarus or something like that. I'm not sure at which point that shit went on the tree, but now you can get a lot of that reduced curse effect on you on the tree. And on the ring, you can, for example, get, where was it? Let me check. You can get a bit here. You could get it from curse effect on you in Kesres. That Asylum. So there was also the one on Sanctum of Thought. Yeah. If you get that wheel, you could get reduced effect of curses on you. Bear in mind, these are different masteries, so you can get that and that separately. So you won't be you won't be forced to choose just one of them. You can get both of them because this is armor and energy shield mastery. This is resistance and element protection mastery. So that's one way to get them, and the other one is through the Pantheon. So currently I do have 60, 20, 30, and at some point you might get cursed with increased curse effectiveness or something, so that over the 100% value kind of helps. But what I'm actually planning to do is, once I get a few more levels, is to use these Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh jewels, and the combo is actually pretty cheap. You can get that for, at least I got them for 20 something chaos a piece. So that one gives you 80% reduced effect of curses on you. So you can basically go these two and just the Pantheon and drop the stupid ring, because let's be honest, you can just put something pretty decent in that slot. You can also go, of course, if you just ignore all that shit, you can go Viridius Veil, Coward's Chain, Coward's Legacy or something, but that is 8 divines, so that's an expensive belt. It gives you, you get cursed with vulnerability with increased effect, then you have to get it on the tree, but yeah, you get Pain Attunement, and then you count as low life while being cursed with vulnerability, you know the drill, but it's an expensive combo, and I'm trying to build that on a reasonable budget. I don't want to spend more than a few divines on an item. Rest of my gear, this one is pretty bullshit. I will try to get one with chance to deal double damage while focused, more crit. Of course, these gain endurance, frenzy, and power charges every first few seconds. This is obsolete now. I just had it during my early 80s or something. Then the helmet, I just bought it for the determination. I need resistances. The amulet, +1 to lightning, some lightning damage, life, crit, whatever you can get. The kikazaru, obviously. This ring is just whatever. Just filling out your resistances, sim cast speed. The gloves, these ones actually I picked off the ground. And these are pretty good. I think they give you exposure and a nerve, so having that with life resistance is just pure luck. The boots, just filling out my stats, my other resistances, and whatever you need. You don't need anything special on them. Perhaps maybe just a good enchant, cast speed. Maybe there's also lightning damage spells if you've been hit recently or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, you can get something like that. It's whatever you can afford, whatever you find. The belt, I've been using that belt a lot lately. It maybe is just bullshit or just a meme. I don't know, but I kind of like the idea of getting those brutal charges. It gives a bit of armor, which I am trying to scale a bit. It gives you some resistance, some life. And these brutal charges give you a chance to deal triple damage. So having 4 of them and then 1 maximum endurance charge from that, which then converts to brutal charge, you can get from the wand currently, which I will ditch. But yeah, you can get 5. You can also get +1 here, so that's some extra chance for more damage. Rest of the stuff is just flasks. So yeah, room is something that I used to get my block chance to maximum, because without it I don't have it capped. I have an ointment flesh for +1 to maximum LA res. Follow the Brine King with freeze avoidance. Molten Shell on autocast just for some armor. And the skills that I'm using, I have Lightning Trap just to shock enemies with Overshock, and Charge Traps because I can't deal damage myself. I use traps because I have Ancestral Bond. Charge Traps, they help me a bit before I respect to Conviction of Power. I use Charge Traps for some power charges and frenzy charges because I can't think of a way to get frenzy charges on that unless I unveil it, craft it on ring, but I can't now. So yeah, power charge on crit, that I have to ditch that. I used it before. It's just a dead slot now. Tempest Shield, Defiance banner. You could get. I did get an Enlighten. It doesn't really help much. I mean, it gives you some mana back, but that's not really doing anything because you can sustain casting everything with all of the mana regen you got. Currently, if things change, I might end up using Enlighten again, but you could actually slot your Enlighten in Viridi's Veil if you use that combo with Coward's Legacy. Then the Viridi's gives you +2 to Enlighten, and the reservation goes a bit higher. I mean, the reservation efficiency goes a bit higher, so you could use that to your advantage. Currently, I don't know what to slot here. I try using Arctic Armor with Divine Blessing. It's just once more mana. I can't. Maybe I can just put a Vow Haste. Maybe. Yeah, me too, mate. So, Determination, Zealotry, Wrath in the shield because you get the 30% increased reservation efficiency for them because they are the highest demanding mana. auras that you have. Then we have what? Molten Shell, increased duration, Sigil of Power, Flame Dash. Sigil of Power is something that, wow, I haven't leveled it. There we go. Okay. But it's better to have it than not have it. Then I use Arcanist Brand with Conductivity, Calling Strike, and just the Golem for some cast speed. Conductivity could be switched out for Assassin's Mark, but currently, with the way I've built my tree and my skill setup, I kind of lose damage if I'm not using conductivity, so I'll try to utilize Assassin's Mark at the later point. I actually need more crit on that because my crit currently is not that high. I really need to scale it a bit, maybe with the Watcher's Eye, with Zealotry or Wrath, I'm not sure, and then I can use increase critical strikes on my Divine Ire setup, which is Divine Ire level 21. You get a bunch of extra levels from the wand, from your amulet, and yeah. So Divine Ire, multiple totems, of course. Awakened added lightning damage. That's where you get +1 as well. LA focus, because I shock with lightning trap. I don't need to shock with it. Physical lightning, and then increase critical damage. So this setup reaches around 900,000 DPS per totem, both Guardian DPS. And I'm currently trying to scale it a bit high. I will get a wand with a crafted chance to deal double damage while focused or crit, of course. And once I've gained a few more levels, once I am not that starved for points, because I'm a bit stretched around the tree now, I might try to use Divergent Div Ire, where you get 20% of physical damage converted to cold damage, and then I might drop Wrath, get Hatred, use a Taste of Hate, drop the LA focus, and that could probably add another defensive layer to my setup, as I would probably freeze a lot of the enemies, but I've yet to test that one out. You can also use Sin's Rebirth with that, but then you gotta put too many flasks, and you need to have roomies and a mana flask probably. I'm not sure. I actually might drop the mana flask, but yeah. Taste of Hate, if you use that, is a must. And if you reach the point where you don't need the Kikazaru, when you have the two Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh thingies with Time of Need, you can get the old school setup with Mark of the Shaper and an Elder Ring. And then you can get also Viridi's Veil and Coward's Legacy if you have the cash for it. Just spec into some Pain Attunement and you get 30% more damage. Shaper's Mark also gives a lot of damage, so that's a nice ring to have. Again, I want to point out it's not a fast mapper. It's something that doesn't do quite well in tight corners. You don't want to be in the middle of a breach, or you don't want to get surrounded by a mob spawning from an altar or something. You need to position yourself nicely. You want to outmaneuver projectiles and all of that, and let your totems do all the work, because yeah, they do a lot of work. Leave nothing but dried flesh and the smell of ozone. Anyway, that's about it. I'll be updating the build soon, probably sometime after the holidays, maybe next year, who knows. Please feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or warnings. I am not a totem expert and I rarely play hierophant, so I'm kind of struggling with the defenses on that one. So any help is appreciated. Do leave whatever you deem as a sane advice. I'll try to implement it. I'll leave a detailed POB when the build is polished out. In the meantime, try to stay sane, keep your welder masks on, and happy holidays. See you next year, guys.